Have made it into the NFL playoffs for the first time in 18 long years.
Going deep, and he's got Freeman Edwards. He dropped the ball. An NFL high 12th dropped pass.
You suck, you jackass.
Colin Sexton has the Cavs' last 17 points, looking for 20. Oh, my!
You're tuning into the We Like Sportz podcast with Austin, Keith, Peyton, and Riggs. Make sure to stay tuned for your latest sports news on the We Like Sportz podcast.
Roasted my nose. I don't want to play no more.
Why don't you shut the hell up?
Welcome, everybody, to the We Like Sportz podcast with Peyton Vince alongside Pat. Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Oh, good. How are you?
You know, it was a long night last night at softball.
Dude, that was some bullshit.
And why was it bullshit, though? Like, what happened?
Because I didn't get home until midnight, and I get up at fucking 4:30 in the morning.
Like, the positives. Here's the recap of softball, everybody.
Our defense sucks, and we score.
Yeah, and it was 23 to 24, and then there's no way that second game was 8-9.
23. No, it was 19-8.
Okay, that's what I thought. There was he wasn't saying the one of those situations. Yeah. But yeah, it was a long ass night.
It was more than a long night.
And I mean, we had fun, obviously.
No,
decent weather.
We lost.
But I had fun out in right field.
In the moment, sure.
Out in right field. I mean, definitely looking forward to playing more. And then also we
had
also
a dickhead watching that tried to shoot middle on me. He's watching. Look out.
From one of the tournaments?
No, from last night.
Which one?
The pitcher, the dude that pitched the second game.
That guy?
Yeah.
I don't even know him.
Yeah.
That dude that got mad because he ended up having his mask off.
Yeah,
and
C player.
What a cock. But anyways, that's enough about our lives in softball. That's just breaking the third or fourth wall, whatever wall it is. Ours are just blue and black now at this point, or else it's progressive field. It depends on the day.
Is blue and black or R?
No, honestly, it's a question for Steven. Is it is Smith or R Smith?
It's a good, yeah.
Which, by the way, Stephen R. Smith hopefully will be calling in later. Currently, Riggs is at work right now, so it's going to be hard getting Riggs in.
What does Riggs have to do with Stephen R.?
I'm just saying Riggs won't be here. Stephen R. is probably going to be here.
Okay.
So, I mean, everybody gets to look forward to the famous guy in the podcast, Stephen R. Smith. But, honestly, I'd love to hear about his draft talk, but we're going to end up diving into it now. So, the NFL draft starts tomorrow, about a half hour from now, too.
Half hour from now.
Isn't it an 8 o'clock start?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Thursday. Or is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
No, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I didn't hear you say tomorrow.
Yeah. But you have I mean, before we end up breaking down pretty much like the biggest talk of this draft and all the quarterbacks that are involved, what are your thoughts? Like, do you care as much this year around with the Browns picking at, isn't it 26, compared to past years when it's the top 10, top 5, number 1 overall?
I think I care more.
Because
I know they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Like, it's like there's things to still work on in the defense. I feel like that's what you have to target.
It's kind of nice, like, going into the draft and not knowing what to expect.
And if you've paid attention to, like, any of the mock drafts, too, they have so many different spots for the Browns to come through. They might end up trading up to the top 10. They might go trade back. They might stay where they are. They might go up 5 picks. It's a good uncertainty for the first time in years, which, I mean, in your lifetime, I know in mine personally, it's never happened, but in your lifetime, have the Browns ever ended up picking outside of early on in the draft, it seems?
Not that I can remember. Trying to think. They drafted 20-something, but I don't know if that was their own pick.
That was, wasn't that the one with the Brandon Weeden or the Manziel one, and then
the
Justin Gilbert?
The Manziel one, they got the Manziel pick from Indy for Trent Richardson. But I'm talking about when they took Alex Mack. I can't remember if that was their own pick.
Honestly, I'm curious now. And also, if you want to dive into Alex Mack, too, it looked like once upon a time that the line for the Browns, with him, it was like you didn't have a question at all for center. But now,
left tackle.
Yeah, with Joe Thomas, exactly. But now you have, like, the last couple of years, it isn't set in stone, but they've been better off without Alex Mack. And he's been traveling around to Atlanta and the 49ers. But to answer the question, because the 2009 draft that you're talking about, you have the Browns.
Is that Barkevius Mingo? No, Barkevius Mingo would have been after.
This was also the draft, too, that Pat McAfee was actually drafted in, which now he's a broadcaster and living his best life. And, yeah, the Browns. This is a strange draft, though, because you have the Packers taking B.J. Raji at 9.
Why is that strange?
Because the Packers are picking at 9, and there's no trade involved.
That's true.
So actually, the Browns, they originally had picked number 5, but they traded it to the Jets for the butt fumble himself, Mark Sanchez.
The Browns never had, or that's who the Jets drafted.
Yeah, they picked and they traded with the Browns. But yeah, that's how the Browns ended up landing down to 21. The
Browns were picking at 5.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is something they've done in years past too.
That
was something consistent that you know that better than me.
The only consistency about the Browns is they've sucked.
You know, if I said that though, people would get mad. Like you'd get mad. But I'm a Steelers fan, and I've seen better success than you.
Shit, it's true though. How are you going to argue facts?
I mean, you got a valid point.
It's not ESPN here.
But if it was, though, we'd be missing Max Kellerman and Stephen R. Smith. That too, at this point. I haven't watched ESPN in a couple months at this point, just because
their new thing is Justin Fields.
And that's another one, too.
He's going to be drafted because he's black. Even though Trey Lance is going to get drafted.
And Trey Lance
What's the color of his skin? Look,
am I allowed to say
I don't give a fuck about race. You're either a good person or a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the motto. Like, that's the way you have to look at things now, is stop looking on the outside and it's just if you're a genuine human being or not. Just put the bullshit aside. But as you mentioned, though, with the draft, this is something we were talking about earlier, that you have 5 quarterbacks possibly that are going to be taken in the first 10 picks for the draft. Nuts. Which in years past, like, maybe you have 3, definitely 2, because you could name, like, Jared Goff. You had, who else was in that draft? Jared Goff was definitely somebody notable. Who else was in that draft?
Carson Wentz.
The Carson Wentz, and they went 1 and 2 or like 1 and 3. Yeah. But this year you're going to have quarterbacks in a row taken. Like in years past, like the last one with Baker Mayfield, you had Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Well, Lamar was last pick.
Right, but that was all in the first round, though. You had all these quarterbacks in the first round. Sam Darnold, who's not even, like, they're worried. Jets fans that I'm seeing are worried that Trey Lance, who's a good possibility of him going to them at third. The Jets.
The Jets are taking Zach Wilson.
Really? Because I seen in another mock draft that they had Trey Lance, and people are worried about that. Yeah, at 2. And they're worried that Trey Lance is going to be the same thing as Sam Darnold, inconsistent and Trey Lance. So we were talking about it too. And before I go in my in-depth tangent about quarterbacks, because I didn't pay attention to college football, and I don't pay attention to Trey Lance. I don't pay attention to Zach Wilson. But if we're gonna talk about it, I want to take the time and talk about it. Who do you think would be in the order for these quarterbacks selected? Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is number one without a doubt. We know that. Jacksonville knows it.
Well, okay. So, in what order do I think, or what order do I think they're going to, or what order do I think they should?
I want to say should because you're already I want your own personal opinion for this because I want to dive into it too because all these mock drafts I don't really agree with.
I think Trevor Lawrence is 2.
And then who would be 1? Is Justin Fields 1?
My opinion. And no, I am not an Ohio State fan.
The thing is that watching highlight film of Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, his biggest downfall is going to be the fact that he doesn't know how to slide when he scrambles. He slides like me on the field, and you've seen me slide recently, and after I rolled my ankle, it hasn't been the same. It's been bad. But his foot's going underneath his ass, and he's just going to roll his ankle. That's all that's going to happen.
I just don't. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good, solid quarterback. I don't think he's special. When I watch him play, I just don't see much. I
mean, he's a Clemson guy. The other guy from Clemson recently was Deshaun Watson, which I don't even know if you're able to bring up his name anymore because he's been in the news. Exactly. But you have... Is Trevor Lawrence getting so much attention from Clemson because they're expecting him to be like a Deshaun Watson? They're just counting the fact of the past.
Not to go back into the race thing, but he's white and he's super athletic.
And I hate him so much as an individual. Who? Trevor Lawrence, just because he's good. He's a good athlete.
You hate him because he's good?
I don't want him. I don't want to play against him.
Why do you like them?
Because they're good. But if I play against a good team, I don't want I could respect good competition, but I can't end up. I'd rather not play them multiple times in the year. If I was the Jacksonville Jaguars, if I was the Colts, for example, and I know I had to face them twice a year, I would rather not face him twice a year. Same thing with Justin Fields. The whole entire mock draft situation, you got Zach Wilson from BYU, which I think even
any team, anytime, any place. Until they played Coastal Carolina.
And that's the thing that a lot of people like his charisma in his mouth just because he's somebody.
He's definitely got some confidence about him.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me a little bit like Baker Mayfield. He'll run his mouth and he'll do his best to back it up.
It's easy to have confidence when you play that schedule.
Yeah, and that's the thing that
nobody.
With BYU and Zach Wilson, you have most drafts have Zach Wilson going 2 overall. Zach Wilson, the highlight films that I've seen, his center literally destroys the defensive line. Yeah. He's blocking with one hand and literally having free time to text somebody back with his other. There's nobody whatsoever that's getting through to that line, so how much is that protection influencing the second overall pick? That's what's irritating me is that obviously all these mock drafts, they're never going to always be accurate, but it's just the fact that you have somebody that Trey Lance, no competition whatsoever. I hated seeing that highlight film because he looked like he played against a Division VI high school.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz was the same way.
He was, but again, though, too, I feel like Carson Wentz, we've seen the way he's turned out. He lost his spot in Philadelphia. Down in the future. But in the future, though, Trey Lance is probably going to be down the same road. If we look at... No, just his success level, I think, is just... His ceiling might be Carson Wentz.
He was an MVP candidate.
But how...
Because go look at his stats from that year.
Yeah, he is 43, or Carson Wentz or Trey Lance?
Carson Wentz.
Okay, Wentz I don't remember, but Trey Lance
he blew his knee up, I think it was against the Rams in week 13 or 14. And he was the runaway
That was back
MVP.
in his second year too, right? It was still early on.
It was the year whenever they won the Super Bowl. When Nick Foles
Big Dick Nick.
Yeah.
But it's so irritating.
I wish I had a nickname like that.
Well, yeah, you got it, just Small Dick Pat.
Small Pecker Pat.
But, diving into, all the quarterbacks, and I want to get your thoughts on this, too. So, personally, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to end up going number 1.
No shit.
And,
and the Jags are going to take all 10 minutes to decide.
I hate that. We were saying that off air, too.
They've been on the clock for 8 months.
But they're gonna have to show all the highlight films, and it's not only this, but that second pick you already know is already gonna be in.
It's gonna be Zach Wilson.
But the time in between, I hate the fact.
Gonna be Mac Jones.
But why Mac Jones? Like
Mac Jones, he looks like me, just a little taller.
So that's why you're a fan of him?
No, I don't like the guy at all.
So Trevor Lawrence, like my breakdown, like if I had a scouting report on these guys, this is the way I kind of put my shoes into. Trevor Lawrence, what I noticed from him, he has a quick arm slot. They ended up saying he became a leader in 2020. He's a dual threat, which all these quarterbacks at this point are a dual threat.
Yeah, that's the new normal.
You have him completing passes in tight windows, but again, like I mentioned earlier, he needs to work on sliding.
The windows are a lot tighter in the NFL.
Exactly, and that's going to be something that he has to transition. And the fact you also have a college coach in Urban Meyer. How are two college athletes or two college program people going to adjust in their first year in the NFL?
I don't know. I wish I had it in front of me. There was a Pro Football Focus, I think.
Okay.
The quarterback that was the highest rated on their second read and beyond, so not your first read, but your second or beyond, Trevor Lawrence was like fourth.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's not afraid to stay in the pocket and run around if he needs to.
He's a one-read quarterback.
But the thing is that like the biggest concern I think for Trevor Lawrence is the fact that you could either have a really good situation with him and Urban Meyer being together because they both understand each other, but it's also a completely different game.
They don't even know each other.
From a college point of view, like they both not too many college coaches for one are successful. What? Urban Meyer? Why don't you like Urban Meyer though?
Piece of shit.
Because he keeps on backing out with all his coaching gigs.
Yeah, anytime something goes wrong, he's got a heart murmur.
And that's also what kind of put the Indians with Terry Francona, though, is that he took his time off and then he came back, and now he's also having health issues again, too, which
Tito's
sucks.
loyal.
And he's been with the Indians forever.
He hasn't tried to get out of his contract.
Right. And Urban Meyer, I could understand why you don't like him, but seeing the success from,
he breeds murderers.
He breeds murderers?
Just look at Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me he didn't know there was nothing wrong with Aaron Hernandez?
And you also have a Christian guy named Tim Tebow, though, on the team, too. Like, is there, somebody that's able to control him at the same time?
Who, Tebow?
Yeah, was Tebow controlling Hernandez, and, was that the good angel on his shoulder? No pun intended. The Amish said hi.
Better go churn some butter.
But anyways, you got Trevor Lawrence.
What's up, Scotty?
Oh, Scotty's watching? That's not my dog, by the way. But you have Trevor Lawrence, I think, is number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I feel like Justin Fields. That's the rightful spot for him, and that might be because I'm an Ohio State fan.
Opinion.
Yeah, this is all my opinion. So Justin Fields, again, dual threat option, not saying much.
Brandon, you're a hoe. Go ahead.
Justin Fields.
But see, and then here's where it kind of gets interesting, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, exactly. When you break down, that's where I noticed the biggest scouting reports, and when I manipulated it the most, that's where it ended up coming from was the 3, 4, 5 in my opinion. But Justin Fields, I feel like he's going to be in a benefit if he ends up having a tight end to throw to. He loved throwing to Ruckert when it was Ohio State. So he ended up having Ruckert had 5 touchdowns.
Okay, what a perfect spot for him to land in San Francisco.
Right, if he ends up going to 3.
Top what?
George Kittle.
3, 4 tight ends in the league.
I think you
can argue Kelsey's number 1 in my opinion.
Easily, I think Travis Kelce's number 1, but George Kittle's easily top. Kittle.
He's not a fucking bell that you lift.
I was always calling those kettlebells, though. But then on top of that, too, with Justin Fields, not only is it a tight end target, which maybe in this case it is better off for him for his future to actually land in San Francisco.
He's also got a receiver there. I can't think of the dude's name. But
Deebo Samuel, right, from the 49ers?
Yeah, but there's another guy that, burst on the scene last year. I can't think of his damn name. He's got a super weird name.
I think I remember who you're talking to.
But he would have,
fantasy.
Similar receivers to what he had at Ohio State.
And I feel like that's where Justin Fields
and Wilson, and then you got a even better tight end situation than you had at Ohio State. I just don't understand what Shannon. And look, these guys are paid to do what they do. They know a whole hell of a lot more than me.
Right, because I
don't know how you take Mac Jones at number 3.
No, and I hate that. Mac Jones, the last thing about Justin Fields is the one thing that he's going to benefit from is I feel like he needs a good running back. because that leads to his play fakes. You need to have somebody to sell the play fakes.
You got to have that RPO.
So, Mac Jones, I don't think he's going number 3, but you brought him up.
You don't?
Honestly, I'd rather have Zach Wilson, but like it's all people like out of these 3. I don't want Mac Jones because I feel like Mac Jones is. This is all just the case of him being from Alabama.
Is this your opinion?
Again, opinion. Okay. Yes.
My bad.
Do you want every pick we could end up saying, "Is this my opinion?"
We're good now. Okay, so who do you think should go number 3?
It's gonna be Mac Jones.
No, who do you think should?
Should. I think
should.
Zach Wilson because I have Justin Fields going too, and then Trey Lance. I don't even think he should be anywhere. Like he's just somebody that if he gets picked in the top 10, he doesn't deserve it. I think I saw Justin Fields falling to 10 to Denver in one of the mock drafts.
Does Mac Jones deserve it?
He doesn't deserve it, but like. With Mac Jones, like a lot of people were comparing what I saw on social media is they think he could be similar to Tom Brady, and not the rings perspective, just that.
Who said this?
Somebody on YouTube, for being honest.
Who?
Want me to call him out?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. But
someone said like they're white and out of shape?
But then they also said Tony Romo, they could compare him with his silent footwork. That was something else that they picked up on. So the Tony Romo situation.
Have you ever watched the quarterback play and their feet made noise?
I honestly can't say I have.
There you go. They're all silent.
Mac Jones has a strong arm, but it's an inaccurate arm too. Yeah. That's the thing that's unattractive about it.
He's not accurate downfield.
Patient at times to let the play develop. Yeah. Obviously, that's what you want.
That's what happens when you play at Alabama and you get 10 seconds to throw the ball.
Right. Again, same thing like Trey Lance, or not Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. Yeah. Strong offensive line. But the thing is in a big game situation, I looked back at the Ohio State game for the national championship game, and Mac Jones was under pressure, defensive lineman in his face, and he just threw it up there, and he got lucky and completed the pass.
He also had arguably the best receivers.
Yeah, I mean, you had Jalen Waddle that wasn't even like he played the first 3 games and that was it.
Broke his foot.
And then when he comes back from a foot injury, he's still fast as hell.
Yeah,
you had Devontae Smith, and I don't understand this comparison.
And Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris.
Who's going to be a first-round pick.
And I think he honestly, and I'm not going to be disappointed if it happens, I think he falls to the Steelers, and they need a running back right now.
That's probably what Ben needs.
Yeah, you need somebody that will end up helping plays develop so much more, especially with Ben Roethlisberger and his age.
Yeah, they're still going to suck.
I'm not going to say they're going to suck. I'm not going to say they're going to be great, but right now they need to focus on a running back and go from there.
Define suck. Like, do you think Pittsburgh, you can't go 500 anymore because there's 17 games?
I think they'll end up being, so in a 16-game season, I was thinking 10-6 possibly.
Well, it's 17.
Right, but so then give or take 10-6, 10-7 in the situation, or 11-6 for a 17-game season.
Would you like to put money on this?
No, I would not, because you're a betting man and I'm not.
All right.
But with Mac Jones, it's like Devontae Smith even said.
What if I said 9?
9 wins for the Steelers?
Yeah.
If you said 8, I'd throw something down.
Continue.
But with Mac Jones, like what Devontae Smith said about him is he prefers having him at quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. That's
one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
I don't understand why.
Coming from someone who didn't play with either one of them.
But is that just the case of Devontae Smith backing his quarterback because they're on the same team and Tua's in the NFL?
Sure, but it's going to...
I think it's a dumb decision.
It's going to be a bad look for Devontae Smith when he ends up in Miami.
Yeah, that's going to bite him in the ass one of those situations.
Thought that through.
Probably not. I mean, you never end up... I guarantee that it's probably something spur of the moment, and then you decide to talk and open up your mouth and inserted the foot.
I'd take Jalen Waddle over him anyways.
Waddle, I liked seeing what I saw out of him, and it was only the game against Notre Dame, which wasn't saying much, and then college football playoff, and then the national championship game,
Yeah, I
too.
think Waddle's better.
Like, he's just quicker. Like, he's a very fast, explosive wide receiver.
Jamar Chase is even better.
Jamar Chase.
LSU, he sat out.
Okay, but he's supposed to be, I think, a top 15 pick I saw.
He's supposed to, I guess, he's the favorite to go to Cincy now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Him and Joe Burrow.
And do they still have, Cincinnati doesn't have A.J. Green still, right?
It's in Arizona.
That's what I thought, and that was the last year, right, that he ended up,
this
past offseason?
This offseason, yeah.
So, diving back in, though, with Zach Wilson, like I said, what I would end up putting fourth in the situation.
So this is your opinion?
Opinion, yes. Dual threat, again, not shocking. He has a strong arm. He throws with a defender in his face, without a problem whenever that did occur. But he also has the offensive line that, again, their center's a big boy, not letting anybody by him, blocking one-handed. You're not going to get that in the NFL. People are way too strong. Myles Garrett is not going to end up holding up against a one-armed man.
Well, Myles Garrett isn't being blocked by a center.
You get the point. But then with Zach Wilson, too, the ball placement for on the sidelines to his wide receivers, he made sure that most of those balls, granted this is college, you need 1 foot in, it's at least making the best effort to place that as close as possible to the sidelines. Yeah, he's giving him a better shot than most quarterbacks would. I don't think that Trey Lance has the most upside in this draft, like a lot of people say. I think Zach Wilson is the one with the most upside.
You think he's got the most upside?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely.
So why wouldn't you take him too?
Because same thing with Justin Fields, though. I just feel like he has more upside because of the BYU standpoint for college. It's again, I don't like the fact that Carson Wentz got drafted so early, like a North Dakota State.
I think Zach Wilson has the most bust potential.
I think Trey Lance is going to have the most bust potential because people are going to expect him to be a combination of Lamar Jackson because he's quick and Josh Allen with his arm.
Ain't nobody expected Trey Lance to be Lamar Jackson.
With his feet, he's so quick.
Nobody's expecting anybody to be Lamar Jackson.
I guarantee you, I don't want to guarantee you because then you're going to be like...
Lamar Jackson's the best running back to ever play quarterback in the NFL.
I feel like Trey Lance might end up if he has a decent career, I feel like that'll be the future is Trey Lance and Lamar Jackson. But again, though, you have a running back at quarterback in this situation. We're not even talking about the quarterback in the right way because...
I think Trey Lance is a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson.
I still haven't seen enough on Trey Lance because, again, though, these are all judging by teams that...
Have you watched Lamar Jackson throw a football?
But yeah, but have you seen...
It was like you trying to catch a pop fly in right field.
You know, I knew it was coming. Eventually, I knew it was coming. But with Zach Wilson, I was comparing the two of them, but Trey Lance looks like he's playing against the high school, like I mentioned.
Well, sure.
And that's what's going to happen when you play at college, and I don't even know what ranking. You're not, maybe Division III? D2?
I think so.
But then Wilson, it looked like at times against BYU he had some type of competition, but I think the biggest test for him is going to be the offensive line. He's going to have to end up figuring it out that pocket's going to collapse a lot quicker than it does for him back at BYU.
Yeah, but who's the Jets coach now?
It's not...
Because what's his name's gone?
It's not Gase, yeah.
Who did they hire? Oh, Saleh from San Francisco.
Is it?
Yeah, Robert Saleh.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to believe, too.
I'd be interested to see who their offensive coordinator is because you're going to have someone that's smart and sets... You almost got to... If you go back and watch RG3 in his rookie year...
Right.
I think that was Kyle Shanahan in Washington. All they did was cut the field in half.
So for the...
Not the roster, dummy. Go to the staff.
There we go. Offensive coordinator we're looking for?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We're getting close. Offensive coordinator is Mike LaFleur.
Okay.
So, I mean...
Matt LaFleur's brother. So.
And he's been an assistant for the Falcons, Browns, and San Francisco. So, I mean...
Oh, boy, he's been in Cleveland.
So, who hasn't, though? At some point, who hasn't? Shanahan was, too. But with... Trey Lance, though, with the last pick out of these 5, I think Trey Lance, I don't think he's...
Where'd you have Mac Jones? 4?
Mac Jones was the third one.
Third?
And then Zach Wilson at 4.
Oh, okay.
Trey Lance is 5. Okay. And I think his downside is the fact that he played at North Dakota State. Like I mentioned, the Lamar Jackson speed, Josh Allen arm. He could break tackles, which is great, but a highlight reel...
He ain't got Lamar Jackson speed. Stop.
But the
What's his 40 time?
But the highlight...
Keep talking.
I'll look. But with the highlight reel that you saw against Trey Lance, I'm not interested in seeing it because there's no...
There.
Yeah, he's playing against a team that's barely even... Like, they're struggling to get on the bus because they know it's going to happen.
Watching a porn and they have their clothes on.
All right. Now, that one you got me. I wasn't ready for that one. But for the... He's 20 years old. I feel old, and I'm 25. And he was a redshirt freshman to start off and then got to play last year, too.
Did you just type in Trey Lance?
I just looked him up on
time?
Wikipedia. I didn't do the 40. It's almost time for a break already. This is a lot of football in the first segment. All right, here we go. Trey Lance, his 40 time. he was consistently clocked in the mid 4.5s.
Okay, look up Lamar's 40.
And at 1.99 seconds in the flying 40.
Look up Lamar's 40-10.
Lamar Jackson, he didn't run the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, but in 2017 at Louisville, he ran a 4.34.
Oh, wow. Huge difference.
And it's like, I hate numbers for that very reason because that's a couple like tenths off, but it's still a huge difference. You're exactly
40
right.
Yards.
But on that note, though, do you have anything else to add about the NFL, like the draft situation
for quarterbacks? No, I don't think so. I think we talked a decent amount about all of them, gave our opinions. We vary a little bit, but it's life.
It's going to be interesting to see Thursday.
It's going to be very interesting to see who goes number one when Jacksonville uses all 10 minutes.
More so for the Browns pick, but if you think the Jacksonville Jaguars...
I'll be sleeping by the time they pick.
Yeah, that is true.
No, I'm just joking. I'll take another 3-hour nap.
All right, guys. On that note, we'll be back on the We Like Sportz podcast. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned, possibly for some Stephen R. Smith.
If you're bored in the house and I'm in the house bored in the house and I'm in the house bored, why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTS with a Z at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped. And use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
Welcome back to the We Like Sportz podcast with Peyton, Vince, and Pat. Soon to join us, hopefully, Stephen R. Smith calling in live from the NFL draft. Did you actually know he was down there? God. But speaking of the NFL draft,
the R is for ridiculous, so.
And for
Rockneys.
Dude, he needs
Are
to
they
make
still in business?
No, the one that
Is
Riggs.
he the reason they're not in business?
Honestly, though, that would be a situation, though, because
great question.
You have Stephen R. Smith, that the R stands for Rockneys, but you have Riggs that worked at Rockneys, and Riggs was a waiter there at one point, and from there, you ended up having, with Riggs working at Rockneys, the store closed down during COVID. So, with that R and Rockneys, like, I'm starting to question it now. Like, I know they're two completely different people. Don't get me wrong. But, like, Rockneys is closed now, and Riggs used to work there.
Did Stephen R. ever go in there?
I honestly don't know. I didn't know Stephen R. until he came on the show one time.
Let's ask him.
All right, we'll have to wait for him to call in, because, like I said, live from the draft, I heard there's a bad connection with this storm coming in. But with
his app's probably not working right.
Yeah, the Amazon app, man. That's also his calling app, too. Did you know that?
No.
That's like everything that he uses, like this phone device thing is actually called an app too. Like
a phone?
Yeah, it's called an app. That's Stephen R. Smith. Like what fun play or fun words with Stephen R. We'll have to ask him the title too, because book changes by the day too. But anyways, David Akers. This is a throwback to I think the 2018 draft or 2019. It was the year 2018, the year after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And David Akers delivered the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that was also in Dallas, too.
I'm representing the Philadelphia Eagles. NFC East champs. Divisional champs. NFC champs. And world champs. The world champs. Hey, Dallas, the last time you were in the Super Bowl, these draft picks weren't born.
Could you imagine that? Right, but like, could you imagine that? Like, you're having fun at the draft, get excited because you're like, oh, hey, it's David Akers. The next thing you know, you're like, oh, he's talking shit about my city now, too. Like, I feel like it's just something that, like, again, in, like, wrestling terms, it's like, it's always to get the guy to turn on you. Like, you say something that, like, oh, well, Cleveland sucks, and we're in Cleveland. Well, yeah, everybody's going to boo you. Like,
it's attention.
Yeah, it's attention. It's just, like, stirring the pot, which, I mean, it happens all the time, but I think it's funny as hell.
Where'd the snow go?
The snow, honestly, it left on last week when it was snowing on my birthday. But, yeah, it melted, too. That's where it actually went. Like, the weather, the 80 degrees.
Climate change.
It's a country song, isn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like you'd know. You're
Climate
a country
change?
guy. Yeah. I don't know by who, but I know.
Government hoax.
Do you think they're together? Climate change, the song,
yeah,
and the government?
Yeah. The government funded the song.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But, change of gears, though. Kevin Love and basketball and the Cavaliers. Kevin Love, I mean, this week has changed so much for him. You had on Monday.
What did change?
Just his comments and his attitude changed throughout the week from his subpar performance at being lazy on Monday.
He's got depression. He's got mental problems. You can't make fun of the guy.
I'm not making fun of him.
I am.
You know, sometimes I should know when I'm running into things with you, but I'm still getting to know you a little bit. It's been a year. Oh, no, not yet. Less than a year still. We got a month still. But
do you know the date?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I just know it was June because that's when softball started last year.
Yeah.
But Kevin Love ended up throwing the ball to nobody for an inbound pass after a pretty rough loss on Monday. And then
they were down 6 when he did that.
Were they down 6? Because
that's it.
I haven't paid attention to the Cavs at all, being honest.
They were down 6. He slapped the ball in bounds like he was a fucking child or an upset woman. And then didn't even try to get back into the play or make an effort to try to get the ball back.
And then this is when you knew like something was a problem.
You knew something was a problem when he started talking about depression.
Well,
they need to arrest Kevin Love.
Arrest him?
Yeah.
Where's the love at then?
For robbery.
Robbery? From the contract that the
Yeah.
Cavs gave him? That's on them, though. Like, I feel bad for him because he got locked into this contract for the rest of his career.
He signed it.
Like to be a good guy to Cleveland. Like imagine that. Like, hey, your dog just died. Let me get you a new puppy, but I hate this fucking dog.
I would love that puppy.
Well, yeah. Everybody else would love Kevin Love right now too, probably
sure,
if he actually performed. Tried. Yeah,
okay.
But he locked himself. I feel like it was just him trying to. You had a championship with Cleveland. Okay, you had LeBron from Cleveland or Akron because he doesn't specify that he's from Cleveland. That you had him win a championship, leave, and Kevin Love, whether or not it was a miscommunication on LeBron's end and just kind of stuck him there, that wouldn't surprise me either at this point.
I heard he's getting a new job.
LeBron James?
Yeah. He's going to be an instructor at the police academy.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Like, I hate talking about politics, but like, it's so dumb.
What's political about it?
Just the way like, he's trying to make it political.
Yeah,
that's the problem. And it's just like nobody like. I haven't watched basketball because I don't care to because the Cavs, like, they were hot here and there, but, like, it's baseball season. I could care less about the Cavs. But you have Kevin Love after the game not speak to the media, so you know that was step one of a problem developing. And then he ended up apologizing on Tuesday that, oh, well, my bad, I didn't put in effort. Right, exactly. And then this is the one that every Cleveland fan gets a hard-on from. And I have to figure out the exact quote, because I forgot it from this morning, but it was something along the lines of that Cleveland is, like, the place to be, but, it's the fucking place to be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how do you go from that? Here, his exact quote was, I could be that guy that pushes a team really over the edge, puts them into championship contention. That's what Kevin Love said to Chris B. Haynes on Twitter. Then he said, I love Cleveland. I'll fucking rock with Cleveland until the day I die. So, of course, after that happens...
I would, too, if they paid me that kind of money and I didn't have to work.
But once that happens, though,
I'll rock with the Steelers for life if they want to pay me $30 million a year.
To do nothing?
Yeah.
To smack a ball in bounds?
Yeah.
But you have that situation then, and every Cleveland fan, I feel like if you say a swear word in Cleveland after it in a positive manner, everybody hops on the train like it's great. But like every normal
I think
fan,
you should get suspended.
You should. The NBA's not going to do it, but I agree with you here. The Cavs should suspend him because you had Andre Drummond. That this was the biggest discussion after that situation with Kevin Love on Monday. You had Andre Drummond that was sitting the bench because they wanted to go a different direction. They had Jared Allen at center. He's younger. Why would you take away playing time from him and not? Like, why would you let Andre Drummond play still? You're paying him.
Because you're paying him that kind of money.
But you ended up having a buyout. Yeah, you still had the buyout. But Kevin Love, though, why aren't you buying out Kevin Love? Well, like, obviously, it's a lot more money, a lot more of a time span. But he doesn't want to play here. You have Colin Sexton. Like, it just seems that there's a lot more turmoil internally. Because he wants out?
Suspend him. Conduct detrimental to the team. Suspend him the rest of the season. You don't get paid.
That would be a good motion.
Shove it in his fucking ear.
Yeah, that'd be a good motion to go with.
Yeah.
Because you had Kevin Porter Jr. that was a problem. You got rid of him.
He was just a head case.
Yeah.
So is Kevin Love. He's got that fake mental disorder.
And Kevin Porter, though, I'll give him the credit that he's a young, stupid kid. I'll always give him that benefit of the doubt if you're young and dumb because I've been there too. I've been there more recently than everybody else with the show that does the We Like Sportz podcast. But you still have to. You're a professional. If I was in the NBA and had the opportunity to play a game, I'd shut up and just do my best. And people are gonna piss me off. Everybody does it, no matter what sport you play in. People piss you off in whatever sport. Softball, I don't know if you do anything else besides probably like cornhole.
I do this.
Well, yeah, but like sports wise. But people are gonna piss you off. It's bound to happen.
Beer pong.
Beer pong. I'm sure your teammate's gonna piss you off.
Not that night at Brandon's.
You guys, beer pong. I'll put him up as my partner, and I'll just watch. And any We Like Sportz podcast listener, I'll put $1 on it.
On me?
Yeah, on you.
Way to show some confidence.
I don't like betting. There's a chance of losing. I don't like losing.
You play softball.
With you.
There's a chance of losing.
With you. Yeah. But the Kevin Love situation, though, it's so irritating because...
It's super irritating.
You have a power forward that's still getting playing time. He was hurt, and the Cavs performed better when he was hurt. They had a power forward that... What happened? I have, again, a genuine question, too, because I haven't paid attention to basketball.
Nance?
Is Larry Nance Jr. still starting?
Sick. I don't know if he's back. I don't pay attention to the Cavs.
See? Like, it's just hard to watch this year. Like, this one's an easier year.
To the NBA.
But it's just so interesting with the Cavaliers that you have this situation. You had Kevin Love be out of the team because of an injury. You had them be successful. Yeah, injury. You had them become successful with Larry Nance Jr. at power forward, Jared Allen at center. You started to mesh together, and it seems like Kevin Love's taking them 3 steps back.
That's it?
There's probably way more steps.
I don't understand. Because he's not a bad basketball player.
No, he's a good teammate when he wants to be.
Well, that would make you a bad teammate.
Okay, go on then.
But he's good at basketball.
Right.
He's good at the sport of basketball. Go out there, do your job, stop crying like a little fucking baby. You're getting paid $35, $49, $60 billion a year. Just go shoot the fucking ball and have some fun. You're playing a fucking kid's game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just over the fact that a couple weeks ago we were talking about the possibility of the Cavs either having to decide if they want to play for the lottery.
That went south quick.
You went from playing for the lottery or the play-in game to now Kevin Love being the cancer of the team.
Now we're playing for the number 1 pick.
That's sad. That's very sad. But I mean, that's also just the way that the Cavs are. Like, this is the future.
They're probably winning right now.
The Cavs?
Yeah.
I can tell you in 1 second.
I know they're playing the Magic.
I did get an update, and at halftime, somebody was up by like 6. I forgot who, though. Magic 59-47.
Oh.
And the Magic are pretty close to that number 1 spot, too, at 18-43.
What's Kevin Love doing?
Let's see. Kevin Love, 20 minutes. Oh, this stat line, so great. How much did you say he's worth? Hold on. How much did you say he's worth?
Well, I don't think he's worth a fucking sack of shit.
Okay.
But how much is he getting paid? Like $35 million.
20 minutes. He's 0 for 7. 0 for 6 from 3. 8 rebounds, 2 assists.
I mean, 8 rebounds is pretty good.
That's good, but he's shooting the ball when he shouldn't be. He's 0 for 6 and taking all these attempts. And I understand that you have to warm up and you have to get hot in basketball. But 6 attempts, like, Colin Sexton was the one that said that he was going to take more shots, and he's not even playing today. I don't know for what reason. I didn't look that up. But in the past, he was always the one that, I'll take 13 shots per game because I haven't been shooting the ball enough. But Darius Garland is playing 22 minutes.
He's been playing very well.
5 for 13, 0 for 4 on threes. Mind you, the Cavs were 4 for 22 from 3. So if you want to get mad at Kevin Love, I mean, the whole team kind of sucks. But
yeah, he's 25% of your attempts.
Exactly.
And 0% of your makes.
The whole starting lineup is 0% of your makes. That's the sad part. You have Dotson, that's 2 for 3. Kabengal, 2 for 3.
I don't even know who some of these guys are.
I stopped watching for a couple of months. I have no idea. But changing gears, I don't want to talk about the Cavs forever. So, Jeannie Buss.
Why not?
Because there's stuff about, like, Kobe.
Because they suck.
That too.
Okay.
Do you want to say it one more time?
No.
All right. Jeannie Buss came out last week, or at least from the last show on Wednesdays, 7:30 to 9:30 on the We Like Sportz podcast, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch.
YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
I didn't know that.
Find out. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
But Jeannie Buss ended up clarifying that Shaq was not traded because of Kobe. It was more of a money situation.
Do you believe that?
I kind of want to, but at the same time...
I didn't ask if you wanted to believe it. I said, do you believe it?
I want to say I do, just because... But again, though, I feel like this is something that should have came out when Kobe was still around, though, and it wouldn't be this situation and this wording if Kobe was still alive, I feel like. And I hate to say that.
What happened to him? No, but I can see it both ways because that would have been a lot of money.
Right.
But look at the NBA today and, like, where it's gone as far as money.
Yeah, you're having players that are making that much alone.
Yeah.
Like, one solid individual is getting that much money. But if Kobe was alive, this would be the other way around. That if there was a comment about the situation, I feel like they said, well, Shaq and Kobe had a beef. But I guarantee you, though, too, Shaq is an individual. This was somebody that was his teammate. Who knows how they ended up leaving the world together? Well, Kobe leaving the world, Shaq's still around. But who knew if they ended up making up after that situation? Like, in the public eye, yes, they have. But behind closed doors, do they hate each other still? And is this just something that maybe lift a weight off of Shaq's shoulders?
I think before Kobe passed, like after he had retired, he became a different person. And he started to try to make amends with everything. And now I do believe that they genuinely hated each other at one point.
I feel, and I think that might be the right answer to this question, is while they played together, I feel like they did hate each other, but after they ended up parting ways, and after they ended up parting ways from different teams, it was a different story. I feel like after that, the tension was a little bit less, and then, like you said, with retirement, I could see that being a thing. I could see that being a possibility because you don't have to deal with each other all the time. You don't have to play with this individual. Look at our situation for softball. You could understand when you don't play with somebody that you could be a better friend when you end up not playing with them because you guys just don't mesh well.
So should we not play together anymore?
No. I forgot to tell you, this is a 2 weeks notice until the next tournament. But, I mean, I hate that it came out now, but I feel like there is some kind of genuine impact from it. But I definitely wanted to hit on that because it involved Kobe and Shaq, and that was something that, when I was growing up, that was always something that was discussed, is that there was always beef between the two of them. It was always a situation, and now they're fine, and they cleared up that it was a money situation and not an attitude situation. But, again, going from the West Coast all the way over to the East Coast now, we're talking about the 76ers, too. And apparently the 76ers reportedly made a push for Chris Paul back in the offseason, but Paul turned it down to go play with Booker and the Suns.
Ayton.
So, I mean,
I think he made the right decision.
Whatever happened to the 76ers? The 76ers near LeBron's time in Cleveland were becoming good. You had Ben Simmons, you had Joel Embiid.
They let go of Jimmy Butler.
But was he even around, though, when they were just getting hot? When they were getting hot, though,
they had no heart.
And it sucks to see because, again, LeBron's, it's still kind of fresh. It's 3 years since he's been in Cleveland. And the 76ers, they can still hang, but they're not nearly as good of a team. I don't see somebody that now, if LeBron was a free agent, I don't see him having any desire to go to the Philadelphia 76ers like he did possibly. When 76ers did the billboard situation on the highway and they trust the process, this and that, and LeBron was still in a Cavaliers uniform, I feel like this wouldn't be a possibility. It'd look stupid if they did that now.
Yeah.
So, Chris Paul, like you said, I think he made a good decision and go with a more youthful team. And I think the Suns proved a lot last year after the NBA got canceled. In the bubble, they've proven so much that
I think they went 8-0.
Yeah, they went 8-0, and then they went on that run in the play-in game too. They ended up still putting up that fight. And again, though, that's a young team. You have Ayton, you have Booker, you have Chris Paul. That's the veteran that could be missing. You never know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the downfall of the 76ers, I guess the question is...
downfall?
I feel like it is, though.
They still have a chance to win the East.
But it's not set in
Who's gonna
stone
win
this
the
year.
East?
The Nets, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have Durant, you have Kyrie, you have James Harden, you had LaMarcus Aldridge, but Aldridge is done. And, imagine it, you had the NBA Finals at one point.
But finishing second place to that isn't...
But are you actually finishing second place?
It's not really a hard pill to swallow. Well, sure, if you go to the Eastern Conference Finals and you lose to them.
What about the Celtics, though? I think the Celtics could still put up a fight. The people are still believing in the Celtics.
Against who? Valley Forge?
Valley Forge. No, against NBA teams. But you had the Nets and the Lakers set in stone at one point with the NBA Finals, probably about 2 months ago.
Yeah, but is it the Lakers?
I don't know. That's the thing, is so much has changed because LeBron got hurt. You have the Lakers.
I do think it's the Nets.
The Nets, even their situation, when they ended up having LaMarcus Aldridge, who had to, he didn't, it was forced to retire, but it was of his best interest to retire because of his heart issues. Yeah. I think then the Nets would have won that, but that was set in stone. What on the West Coast could actually end up coming about from the Lakers? Is the Lakers, are they actually set in stone? Or is there somebody else that could end up making it out of the West?
No, because Anthony Davis could for sure get hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, he's already struggling now, yeah. But this is going to be the last topic for the NBA before we take a quick break. So, I know how much you want to talk about this. You made a point about it earlier. So, what are your thoughts on O.J. Simpson, out of all people, criticizing LeBron James for the tweet about the Columbus incident about police shooting?
Okay, so
O.J. Simpson, out of all people.
Yeah, there's two separate issues here. LeBron's a jackass.
Right. I'm starting to realize that more and more.
And
that's politics aside, too, because he's trying to make it political.
The fact that, like, anytime O.J. Simpson questions somebody's character, there's, like, a major flaw there. Like, there's an issue, and a big one.
Like...
But if the glove didn't fit, you must have quit.
Oh, man, like... The thing is with LeBron making this tweet too and like having friends on social media and like Facebook, I'm seeing more people not come at LeBron James, but they're literally like boycotting him from his he's using his platform in the wrong way.
Yeah. He's chasing more people away from the NBA than he is attracting.
And like I'm starting to see that more and more. Like he'd said that multiple times and I completely understand it now. Just because you're using your platform in the wrong way. You're like people are starting to, like, put up the idea that what if we boycott Space Jam 2 now because LeBron's in it. And
Did you see the trailer for it?
Yeah, it's a weird trailer. I want to see it at the time before this situation, but now I don't know if I want to be a part of it. But how screwed up do you have to be to have O.J. Simpson, who just got out of jail, like, 2 years ago, question you?
Did you see that? It's kind of on topic. But did you know that O.J. sued some casino in Vegas?
Isn't that what happened to in that area?
He sued them because the casino damaged his character.
On that note,
that's not a joke. That's a true story.
But LeBron, before we go to break,
if you're listening,
I don't even. This is a message to him either way. You literally got questioned by a guy that sued a casino for damaging his character. Might be time to shut the fuck up. That's all I got to say. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the We Like Sportz podcast. Don't go anywhere.
If you're bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
Guys, welcome back to The Masked Singer. I am Nick Cannon, alongside with my co-host, Pat White.
Bro, if you would have called me Niecy Nash or whatever her name was, we would have fought.
Oh, man. But anyways, this is the We Like Sportz podcast, brought to you by The Masked Singer.
I thought it was Manscaped.
Yeah, and Manscaped, too. Did you shave your balls today?
Not today.
But you're going to soon because you're getting the lawnmower 4.0 that we're getting.
I am.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Shave that shit.
I haven't shaved it since the 1.0.
The 1.0. Ooh. Were you around for the 1.0?
Jungly.
Oh. Well, I don't even know how to transition this into baseball. So baseball. Oh, balls and balls.
Logan Allen should be sent to the jungle.
Logan Allen should be sent to. That almost came out. I almost said some kind of camp, and it wasn't going to be a good one. But anyways.
Is it one where you concentrate?
Very limited, but yeah.
Okay.
But so before we talk about the Indians, from the MLB standpoint, did you see that Madison Bumgarner ended up throwing a no-hitter, but it's not counted as a no-hitter?
Unofficial?
Yeah, that pisses me off. Like you have all these rule changes. You have the MLB do
well, it's your people. It's you guys are the ones that want it. Your age group.
Yes, and they're all idiots. I love baseball. I'll watch 18 innings. I'll watch and I'll sit in my seat. I'm the idiot that watches 9-inning games. Like, I'll sit and not bitch, not whine.
Idiot that watches 9-inning games?
That's the way that people my age look at me because they're like, this guy doesn't like that this game's going too slow.
Yeah.
Like, no, if you're going to end up, like, you're going to go to a baseball game, you're going to put 3 to 4 hours aside to watch this game. It's either going to be a pitching duel, it's going to be one way or the other, and there's going to be some kind of offense, maybe. If there's a pitching duel, cool. Look at it from another point of view.
You are angry.
Yeah, I am. I hate people my age that don't like baseball. You're an idiot. But anyways, like, that should have been a no-hitter for Madison Bumgarner.
Well,
you made it official that 7-inning doubleheaders are a thing.
He pitched the amount of time that he was told to pitch.
And he was still, like, even if you count it as pitches, like, he was just hit, like, 100 pitches in the 7th inning.
What if it would have been a perfect game?
Well, it wouldn't have been perfect then, because it's not 9 innings. Like,
not 27 outs. Only 21 of them.
I hate and, like, when it became a thing.
So
Cavs, by the way, down 82-61. Great team.
In his next, against the Magic.
Yes, against
in Madison Bumgarner's next start. If he pitches no hits through 2 innings,
that should be counted.
Does he get a no hitter?
Right, like, or else, like,
call Rob Manfred.
Rob Manfred doesn't even know how to answer the phone.
That guy's, I do not like that guy.
Like,
he's the worst thing to happen to baseball ever.
Which, by the way, this wasn't even the plan. This just was one of the, like, bullet points. I don't even know if we were going to get to it, but Rob Manfred, being the idiot that he is, Pioneer League for baseball now, you're resolving games in extra innings with a home run face-off. You're having a home run derby. And, like, cool, that's like a shootout for hockey.
Do you know how they're doing it? I know it's a home run contest.
Let me see.
But is it like a certain amount of pitches? Is it timed the way that the home run derby is for the All-Star game? Do you get like a certain amount of outs?
So, all right.
Like the way the home run derby used to be?
So it's a knockout rule that will resolve games tied after 9 innings with a sudden death home run derby. Under the rule, each team designates a hitter who receives 5 pitches. So it's like an NHL shootout by the sounds of it so far, with the game determined by the most home runs hit. If still tied after the first knockout round, it sounds like it.
Okay.
If it's still tied after the first knockout round, another hitter is selected for a sudden death home run face-off.
Who pitches? Like, do they get like a 70-mile-an-hour fastball tossed up to him, or does the opposing team send an opposing pitcher out there?
So far, 2 paragraphs in, nothing about a pitcher yet, just hitting. This is how the MLB is changing, because they'd rather give a shit about hitting and not. They might even have a robot up there at this point.
Put a guy in second.
Yeah, that's another great idea. Extra innings, because, I mean, have a guy in second, have that count as an extra run. There you go. You figured it out.
Did you know, and maybe you know the answer to this, that runner on second is an unearned run?
Yep.
So who gets the loss? If it's
that pitcher gets that loss, but it doesn't affect his ERA, and it's the dumbest thing.
Dumb.
It's the dumbest thing, because when the Indians faced the Royals in last year, and like when it started up in July, and that game went to extra innings, and we were on the wrong side of it, and then a week later we were on the right side of it, that whoever was pitching in that inning had a 0.00 ERA, but also had a loss. And I think he was one of the first people that had a loss and also had a 0 ERA throughout. So, again, like, this is just screwing with statistics, too. Like, so, another question. Barry Bonds has the home run record. If this became...
Hall of Famer.
I agree with you on that. I feel like there should also be a steroid wing, though, too. But I feel like that could be something that we could talk about forever.
That 2 weeks ago.
I feel like that could be something that could be talked about forever. But with this, if this gets brought up to the MLB, do these home runs count as, like, your career, like, home runs? Does that go to if you were on your way to 755, 756?
Or the showdown.
Right, like if you went 5 for 6 and you hit 5 home runs, is that 5 home runs in the stat book? I doubt it, but...
I hope not.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is, though. So, more in depth about this home run. This is literally something from a video game. I swear this was in, like, high heat, like 2002 for PlayStation. But the league is also experimenting...
How old were you?
2002, I was 6.
Do you even remember that?
I played High Heat on PlayStation. That was one of the best games that I played on.
Okay.
Kurt Schilling with the filthiest fastball, which is funny to say because that was the only one I actually had, like, the fire going by. Or else there was also Slugfest, too. I remember that one, too. But the league is also experimenting with, and this is the Pioneer League, too, not the MLB, with a designated pinch hitter rule, allowing a player to be pinch hit before returning to their defensive position for the remainder of the game. This sounds like shit that we deal with in softball.
It's like a double switch that isn't a double switch.
But you just don't hit that inning. Like, it sounds very much similar to, like, recreational softball. Like, if you could swap people out, it doesn't matter.
Shit.
It's not even, like, that might be a better comparison because I feel like you still have the game of baseball behind it. But then a designated pinch runner rule allows an eligible rostered player to be pinch run before returning to their designated defensive. Same thing with this. The hitter may appeal a check swing strike decision to a base umpire.
I don't have an issue with that.
Under standard baseball rules, only the defensive team can ask for an appeal.
Yeah, I don't have an issue.
That's normal. While the Pioneer League is a partner league with MLB, there's no official tie with MLB experimenting with these potential rules right now, but that's also the same thing they said with the minors in the 7-inning doubleheader and the guy on second. MLB previously announced a partnership with the independent athletic leagues to test rule changes, including moving the pitcher's rubber back a foot and a double hook rule in which a team will lose its designated hitter when it removes its starting pitcher. So, this literally has nothing about who's pitching to them at all.
Yeah, I want to know that.
Nothing at all. Like,
that's like a big part of it.
Yes, because if you end up having like a home run derby, like your pitching coach that's throwing just 7 miles per hour right in your zone, he knows the way you're hit, that's not going to be fair. Like, this is canceling out the idea of shortening the game. But every millennial, Gen Z, what am I even? Gen Z, right?
I don't know
whatever it is, whatever people in my age bracket, 20 to 25 will say.
Generation Jackass.
Thanks. He doesn't usually say that, but because of you baseball fans that want to see a 7-inning game.
It's not just the baseball fans.
What else do we want to go into?
Somehow there's 80 million stupid people in this country, but we don't have to talk about politics.
Damn. So you have like this rule concept. If you have a pitcher that's just going to be... If you have somebody like, let's say this gets implemented in the MLB and you have Shane Bieber pitching... Yeah, like that's gonna make sense. Like that's gonna be a good matchup to the hitter.
What's gonna make sense?
Like if this home run.
None of this makes sense.
If this home run.
Just play an extra inning.
But then what if it ends up going 13 innings?
Oh
then?
well.
People complain too much about it. I agree with you. I just hate the fact that if you have a pitcher that's just throwing 70 mile per hour, just change-ups, you're canceling out the idea of shortening the game, but you're getting the offense that everybody wants to see.
I hope the first one that happens lasts like 3 hours.
I hope it does too at this point.
Nobody hits a home run.
And like
that would be incredible.
The funny part is the fact that it's happening in an independent league. So I feel like that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Like you definitely could see that happening. So then outside of that rule change, we also have, and I just think this is a unique fact, Bo Bichette from the Toronto Blue Jays.
Pretty good.
Ended up hitting a home run against Boston, and that ball landed like inches away from where his mom and dad met.
Yeah.
How
it's weird how shit like that happens in baseball.
And like the statistics too behind it is that like you could find a statistic now about every single home run ball, the exit velocity, the launch angle, the whatever you want to look into, they have it. And now you find out that like, all right, well, fun fact, Bo Bichette, his home run is 450 feet at Fenway Park, which coincidentally, Mom and Dad met 455 feet away from Fenway Park.
Do you believe that?
I do believe it just because with how much baseball changed from, like, the home run swing was literally at one point a home run. It's counted as a home run. That's it. It's over with. Now you have the exit velocity, your launch angle.
Is there anywhere to look this up to verify it?
MLB, like MLB.com itself for like all the launch angle and stuff, that would be...
No.
Like that would be that. For this instance, though, I honestly don't know.
Is there any way to verify that that's where Bo Bichette's parents met?
Probably asking him himself, but I feel like with this kind of
he
statistic...
wasn't there?
Right, but like I feel like with this kind of statistic...
I mean, maybe he was.
Swimmer? Sperm swimmer? But it's just the statistics and I feel like it's only in baseball, though, are just intensified so much. Like, a grounder used to end up being... Like, you looked at...
What are your thoughts about the shift?
The shift? So, I get it, but I feel like it's overly done. Like, I like the shift. I feel like with strong pull hitters, it makes sense. But with, like, every at-bat, like, if you end up facing, let's say, the White Sox, and you have Jose Abreu at, like, he's a lefty, right, I think. I'm going to end up going pull side probably because, like, that's the same way that Franmil Reyes. Like, if he's going to end up hitting the ball to left field.
Franmil goes to Oppo a lot.
He does, too, but it's very rarely that I've seen that he goes Oppo home run. It's just he ends up hitting the ball hard and it goes out. But if he ends up turning on it, he's going to left field in the bleachers. Like yesterday, he went there twice.
He had a piss missile the other day. Was that yesterday?
The one against the Yankees was Sunday, and then the two that he hit by the scoreboard was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
So, like, that I'd understand a shift for the power hitter, but for somebody like, let's say, Cesar Hernandez from the Indians, I'm not going to shift on him. Like, I feel like it's overly done.
I just wish that the hitters were more talented. And I know pitching, like, you're pitching to get the guy to pull the ball.
Right.
So, I just wish that hitters were more talented to where, like, these guys can't even lay a bunt down.
Nobody bunts anymore.
Everybody on one side of the infield, and you lay a bunt down the left field line or whatever. I mean, it's not going to be the right field line because first base is always going to be at first base.
Right.
But down the third base line, you might be looking at a double.
I mean,
even for someone that's slow.
I forgot who said it, but I want to say it was actually my stepdad. But we were like talking about this, and it was when Carlos Santana was with the Indians. And mind you, when he's batting lefty, everybody shifts on over to the first base side. One person at third base. He said, "Why don't you just lay down the bunt and just go down the line? Because you're easily safe at first, without a doubt.
Maybe,
but you can't execute a bunt. Like Carlos Santana will never bunt.
Well, no.
Because he's but if you could teach, like...
That's what I'm saying. Like
high school baseball and college baseball works on that all the time. If you at least gave maybe, like, one time per each month, like a bunting lesson...
Like you got people out here, and I'm not saying you're one of them. You might feel this way. You might not. That athletes today are bigger, faster, stronger, and better. They're not. They might be bigger and faster, but they're certainly... not stronger in a sense of, I mean, mentally or their makeup. Guys get hurt so much now.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely have a lot more injuries.
And there's definitely guys are not as talented.
And I don't want to agree with the bigger, faster, stronger idea because if you're bigger,
faster.
But somebody, like, that doesn't take that to
name
be powerful.
Someone from the 90s that looked like LeBron James.
Or
Dwight Howard.
Name somebody right now, though, too, that is of the stature of Jose Ramirez, but also hits as many home runs as he does. He's a dude that's 5'7", 5'8".
That's an exception, not a rule.
But that's the same thing with Lindor. All they work on is bat speed.
Yeah, I know, but name someone from the 90s that looked like that did it.
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah,
like, it's just one of those exceptions. Like, but I feel like it's more about... And this is why all the intensified statistics for launch angles and everything for baseball.
You know what else is intensified? Strikeouts.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, Madison Bumgarner, I think, had 100 pitches. How many, like, you're having more recently no-hitters probably since 2010 to 2014, you've seen so many no-hitters within this time span.
Strikeout or home run.
Exactly, and you're getting way more no-hitters.
Like, you don't see...
That's when I just started, like...
You're not allowed to break up a double play anymore.
Yeah.
Which is horseshit.
But it's the unwritten rule. Like,
it wasn't.
Right, exactly. It's just part of the game. It's just part of the game. When I first
started watching baseball, that was a huge part of the game. I do it in softball.
Yeah. I mean, if you could slide, go for it.
Yeah.
I would, but I can't. But, like, with...
Nobody steals anymore.
No, because you had Ricky Henderson numbers that had, like, 154, and, like, Sean Figgins.
Guys that, like, going first to third.
It's just the games...
Baseball is just not baseball anymore.
And it's something that needs to change. And, like, I could understand why people in my...
Get rid of Rob Manfred.
People in my age bracket, I understand why they don't like it. Like, I get it. I'm just a different breed. That's all. Like, I'm crazy enough that I could sit down in that time frame when all these no-hitters were thrown. I would love to see the Indians have one thrown for us.
I remember that game a few years back against Toronto.
Was it
17 innings?
Yeah, I remember that one. And then you also had, like, I feel like Carlos Carrasco in this time period was probably the best pitcher because he had that against Tampa Bay twice, 2 opportunities for a no-hitter. But with watching no-hitters happen so frequently, I started to respect pitching. Like, I would love to see, like, when I went to games, I would love to watch Corey Kluber just pitch because I want to see the movement of that ball coming in. He was a different breed. Like, it was a good pitcher and somebody that, like, I wasn't able to actually appreciate CC Sabathia and Cliff Lee. Corey Kluber, I was able to sit back behind home plate, pick my seat, and say, you know, I actually saw that splitter go in, that slider come in, and I was able to look at it in depth.
2014, 2015, I went to a game. It was Seattle and Cleveland.
Okay.
And it was Corey Kluber against Felix Hernandez.
I think I was at that
game.
The
game lasted like 2.5 hours.
Yep. Because all that is just strong pitching. Yeah. That's all it was. Like
I've been to games that have lasted 12, 13 innings and taken 5 hours.
Yep.
And guess what?
Still there.
It was also incredible.
Yep. Like, I feel like the walk-off, and again, like we were going to talk to Indians.
Can you talk to some people your age about, like...
I tried. If anything happens from this, great.
Their attention span
and, like, you
growing
could even...
a little.
Like, you could even, like, everybody has a phone now. Everybody's into their phone, and I get it. It's part of life.
That actually pisses me off.
Like...
When you go to a game and you see someone like this.
Like, that does annoy me at times. Like, I actually had somebody...
What are you there for?
You're, like... I could understand, like, for example, like, one time I was at an Indians game and the Browns were playing the Ravens, and it was, like, Cody Kessler was at quarterback, and that was his first, like, debut. And I pulled out my phone. I'm like, I kind of want to see how he's doing. But that's it. Like, I'm going to put my phone away. I'm not going to be tweeting out about the fact that I'm at the game.
It's fine for...
like, a couple minutes, not for the whole goddamn game. Like, if you can't tell, I'm passionate about baseball.
Which God?
Stephen R.'s God.
Yeah.
But I guess, again, this was supposed to be about the Indians, but I don't think we're going to get to it this week. So, the only thing I want to hit on...
Logan Allen sucks.
Yeah, Logan Allen sucks. He got sent down. Is this the time that Cal Quantrill's actually going to be in the rotation?
It's got to be.
Because Tristan McKenzie is your 5th right now, and I'm not comfortable with him at 5 still.
No.
He's consistent to a point, but he's not going to be able to, his arm, he's just too tiny. He's just a lean man that's like 6'4".
He looks like the dude from that movie.
Which movie?
The stick guy.
Oh, Dr. Sticks is his nickname. That's probably where he got it from.
I don't know.
That's probably where he got it from, honestly.
I don't know.
But...
He's got a lot of potential, but he's still got a ways to go.
His arm, like, he could have more velocity, and he was throwing... Him and Logan Allen both. Logan Allen was throwing in the 90s. The first inning, he gave up 3 home runs or 2 home runs.
No, it was 2.
It was three hits in a row and out.
Byron Buxton and Josh Donaldson.
It's just so irritating that, like, you've given him so long of a leash, and this is the part that the next... leash? You gave him a whole month.
This was like his 3rd start.
4 starts, and Zach Plesac had one. Like, I'm at the point early on, if they're doing terrible, send them down. But and this is when it goes into the next topic, though, that you have Logan Allen sent down, but somehow Jake Bowers is on the roster. Yu Chang is still on the roster playing first.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that minor league play hasn't started yet.
That, but also Jake Bowers, when he's done, like, Jake Bauers, when he's done here, if he's he's going to be designated for assignment, and then you have to figure out what happens on waivers. I don't think he gets claimed by anybody on waivers either.
You don't say. You mean to tell me there's no one in baseball that's going to pick him up?
If anybody does, I could see Tampa Bay doing it. And I could see him going back home to Tampa Bay and showing out, too. That's the part that pisses me off.
If that happens, it happens. It's never going to happen here.
But Jake Bauers just isn't the guy, and, it's getting to the point that Tom Hamilton's over it, fans are over it. Everybody
I'm sure Terry Francona's over it.
But you're just,
You think Antonetti and not Shapiro, what the hell's his name? Chernoff.
Yeah, Chernoff.
You think that they enjoy sitting here watching Jake Bauers play?
But you're still putting, I get it.
They don't have a choice right now.
I get it, but, I've been so big on Bobby Bradley, and Bobby Bradley could be the same situation. He could be terrible.
Where's Keith? You know who's doing very well?
Jordan Luplow.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's surprising, too, is that, people are like, oh, well, if anything, and this is, once upon a time, Indians fans were thinking, I'll have Bobby Bradley at first, we'll have Daniel Johnson in the outfield, and maybe throw in Nolan Jones. And we talked about this, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Now we're talking about, I wouldn't mind if Josh Naylor goes to first base.
I think he needs to.
Jordan Luplow in right field. Jordan Luplow became an everyday guy because he could hit a right-hander.
Yeah.
And, he has 7 home runs or 6 home runs. He's tied for the team lead with Franmil Reyes.
Jordan Luplow definitely.
You got him for Eric Gonzalez.
Yeah, but Eric Gonzalez is a pretty good ball player.
But he just, it wasn't going to happen,
Well, there wasn't a spot for him.
Yeah, but Jordan Luplow.
He's become a very good ball player.
It's just right now with the situation with Eddie Rosario, and you want a mid-Rosario to be a part of the, you want his bat in the lineup. He hit a home run today, too. But you want Jordan Luplow to be a part of it, too.
Was that our only run?
They had 2 today, I think. They had 2, okay. One was a single or whatever with people on base. But
it wasn't a single with nobody on base? No, but Luplow has, more than earned his... He deserves his spot.
Yeah, I could honestly agree with that.
Eddie Rosario. And I think the Indians have, a team that can compete. They just have to put the right pieces in the right places.
Yeah, a lot of people, I understand, the 500 aspect, but I think they're better than 500. Honestly...
Aren't they a game under now?
They're a game... Yeah, because yesterday they tied it up, and now they're at 11 and 12. But you have... I think Logan Allen, by the time, middle season, I think he just has to figure some shit out and then go from there.
I think there's a very good chance you see him go down, get his feet wet.
And then just come right back up.
And come back up, but in the bullpen.
And I think that's what you have to do, especially if Cal Quantrill's doing, if he's doing well.
For Carlos Carrasco.
He turned into a completely different pitcher. But before we end up coming back from this last break, I got my Indians talking for about 10...
Steven!
11 minutes.
Ara.
What's the R stand for? Does it stand for Franmil Reyes? Which, by the way, this is the stats I want to get to.
Rambunctious. Some weird Canadian word that he only knows.
Rio de Janeiro, right?
Yeah.
That's another one. Franmil Reyes, 7 home runs. Tied for second is Jordan Luplow and Jose Ramirez. Did you think Keith Migra?
Who's third? Fourth?
Third and fourth is Perez and Andres Gimenez. But did you think that Jordan Luplow and Jose Ramirez would be in the same sentence for second place on the team? Luplow is... No, I'm going to actually have to do some research on him. Actually, here's what we'll do.
I think it's pretty good.
We're going to call up Stephen R. Smith, make sure he gets in here. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get that average for Jordan Luplow, which is the savior of Cleveland Indians baseball by the sounds of it. But don't go anywhere. We'll be joined by Stephen R. Smith after this break for the miscellaneous segment.
If you're bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. So a little side note, have you ever cut your balls while shaving them? I have, and that is painful. I would not ever do that again, and I would never shave my balls if it wasn't for Manscaped, because once I started using Manscaped, I no longer had to worry about the bleeding anymore. more. Also, for any new subscribers, you end up getting replacement blades refilled for your lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not only 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the high-patented, high-performance, anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPORTS with a Z at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code SPORTS. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped.
Welcome back to the We Like Sportz podcast with Peyton, myself, and the new dude. I can't remember his name. Pretty sure it's Pat.
That's correct. And it looks like Stephen R. Smith is actually still down at the NFL draft, but the R at this time stands for REM sleep. You know, that sounded so good at the time, but one stumble and I just crashed and burned.
It's okay. You'll get better. You should let Pat talk.
Cardinals are winning.
Cardinals?
Yeah. I'm a Cards fan now.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Indians suck.
Oh my God. We talked about that just now.
Luplo doesn't.
I know.
Wait, hold on. Can you say that one more time?
I
Look
said
into
I know.
that camera. And
I said I know.
did you know? Did you think?
He is only batting 204.
Yeah, that's
okay. Compare that with any of the other batters on the Indians. What, Familia Reyes has a higher, I think?
Yeah, and
Has a
he's
higher
tied with
average.
Jose Ramirez.
And Jose, yeah. So, I
like
mean,
Jordan Luplo out of all people.
Together, I think the whole unit's batting, 250? Or it might even be less than that.
Honestly, I don't even want to know. Their offense is so trash.
We are the worst team in baseball for hitting, period.
Like, and then they finally, we were talking about.
Batting 293.
Yeah, Franmil was batting 301 going into today, or last night, after last night.
Keep them going, man.
Who's the worst batting average?
211 as a team.
Oh, so 211. I said Jesus. I said 250. I gave him too much credit.
Who's the worst average on the team that's still on the
Probably
team?
Hernandez.
That's still on the team. There's a key there.
Oh, okay.
Ahmed Rosario. Oh, Roberto's 154.
Really?
Gamel, for what it's worth, he's 071. I don't think he has very many at-bats.
He's down in somewhere. Designated for assignment.
The other thing is you guys realize that I talked enough crap about Luplo that he watched, heard, reset his game up, and now he's one of the best players.
We should get him on.
We should.
Honestly, Jordan Luplo?
The other thing is I talk to Mercado on a daily basis, so if I talk to him and I...
Look what happened to Mercado.
Dude, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe we shouldn't get him.
I will do a podcast with anybody who's washed up in the Cleveland area. So, I mean, think about it. I already got Peyton Hillis. He's washed up. Matt Tift, nobody even knows who the hell he is
from
anymore.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, I do that. And then, I mean, I guess we can get Mercado on. Logan Allen, God bless him. I talked to him. And
he gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, gotcha.
What about Brady Quinn? What's he doing now?
He's like big time.
Yeah, I know. Like he's a huge
Fox
analyst.
Sports.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, good for him though.
Yeah.
Like doing college football.
He's like the number one college football analyst.
Which blows my mind.
Maybe he does color. I'm not.
Those who can't do teach.
Yeah. I mean, you see that so often. I mean,
no, that's a real thing.
Yeah, like you see Tony Romo. You got Drew Brees probably being in some kind of box.
Tony Romo could do.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the first commentator to Tony Romo that you actually had him, like, he's telling you plays as they're happening, like what's going to happen.
In all seriousness, though, Tony Romo is not a bad play caller. There's people that don't like him. I think he's great too, and it's because he tells you what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah,
Joe Buck
he's
sucks.
great. I hate him,
but Tony Romo is very good.
Yeah, I think Romo's good. I think he's got a lot. I think
him and what's his name? Who does he call games with? Why the fuck can't
Romo?
Yeah, why can't I not think of his name? Jim Nantz.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
they do very well.
Yeah, Tony Romo, and like that's definitely the thing that impresses me is that like I usually get upset when athletes become like broadcasters.
Sure.
Because like you got the background already. You were on the field before. Like I'm trying to talk about it, but Tony Romo I can't even get mad at because he's actually discussing it. And
Richard Jefferson does good.
Richard Jefferson's another good one,
He's
too.
like one of like the 3 good people that work for ESPN.
I thought he was still with Fox Sports, honestly, in New Jersey. Because I knew he was over there, or not,
He's
Brooklyn.
on that basketball show every day. With
The Jump or whatever?
Yeah.
Not a sponsor. Anyways, going over to the NFL Network and the whole...
The NFL Network?
Yeah, it was going into the next topic. It was part of the sentence.
I thought we were talking about commissioners.
Yeah, it's the NFL commissioner that's allowing this to happen, and then the MLB. It's all full circle.
Is it an NFL Network article?
No, it's one of the guys that reported it from the NFL Network. Okay. See, we're getting there. But Tom Pelissero reported that NFL owners approved the proposal on changes to jersey numbers. So
why is Tom Brady so upset about that?
Honestly, I think it's just that old man yelling at a cloud situation. Yeah, absolutely. So you have allowing running backs, tight ends, fullbacks, halfbacks, and wide receivers to wear numbers 1 through 49 and 80 to 89. So in this case, like I mentioned to Keith off air, you have a situation that Derrick Henry, who's 22 for the Titans, could go back to his Alabama number and be 2. You could have Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett wasn't always 95 either, I don't think, right?
I think he was.
Was he? Or
was
he?
He was 95. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was.
There was another lineman, though, that was a single number. I don't know if he could go back to that. He could actually go. So let me break this all down. So you have defensive backs could choose from 1 to 49. You have linebackers from 1 to 59 and 90 to 99. Offensive linemen go from 50 to 79. Defensive linemen, same thing, and 90 to 99. And quarterbacks, kickers, and punters still remain from 1 to 19.
Right, but here's the thing. Does anybody care about this?
I agree.
And we all know why it's happening. It's a money grab. Sure. We were just talking about that. They're going to switch it out. They're going to have to buy new uniforms. Yep. So you're going to have to buy new jerseys.
I never understood why it was a rule.
No, me neither. Who cares?
Yeah, like it's just a
number. You know who it is.
Yeah.
You know what position they're playing by where they're standing.
Yeah, exactly.
Who gives a shit what number's on their chest or on their back?
Nobody, in all honesty.
Like, I feel like when numbers matter more is in college because your last name isn't always guaranteed to be on your jersey. Like, I still know the last name.
Numbers matter in the statistics.
Yeah, that's about it. Right. But, like, Tom Brady is so upset over this, and, like, I feel like it's still, like, me personally just saying that, the only change is on the offense. That's it. Like, I could understand
you just said defensive backs.
What?
You said defensive backs 1 to 49.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Because now they're what? Like Denzel Ward's, I think it's like 20 to 49.
Anthony Henry
probably.
was number 37.
The fact that anybody actually knows this is dumb. Like I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying like this is a dumb thing to know. Like you're talking about like 20 to 20. Who gives a crap? No, I mean honestly,
it's just irritating though that they're changing the game for like money. And it's just not like it takes Roger Goodell's approval.
They have to. They have to bring in money. The NFL
especially after COVID.
Dude, all of sports screwed themselves. Yeah. All of them.
Politics.
With the Black Lives Matter, with the COVID, they screwed themselves. They folded. So now they got to do something to make money up.
And we were talking about earlier on that, like with the MLB, you have all these rule changes now. You have Madison Bumgarner's having an imperfect no-hitter.
Right.
You have a home run duel now that you're going to end up having in extra innings for the Pioneer League, which is an independent league of baseball. But knowing Rob Manfred, there's a good chance that he's going to look at that and go, hey, I like that because I like the runner on second base. I like the robot umpires. I like the guy that's going to end up having a home run duel. And again, it's because people my age. Like, it's irritating that commissioners, I feel like they're not listening to fans. They're just pulling shit out of their ass, and they're going with whatever comes to mind.
You can't change the game of baseball and expect people to give a damn. Like, you just can't. Like, if you want me to pack the stadium, you want to make changes, you want me to go there, I don't know, stop selling a beer for $14.
Yeah.
You want to make, let's drop those numbers. Let's make sure that we don't
Let's make those numbers between 1 and 19.
Yeah, absolutely.
That includes food, too.
The Falcons did that.
Yes, which was and look what happened. Yeah. Once they implemented that, all those people came back. It would
be so smart for a team like the Indians to do, where you struggle to sell tickets.
Super small market team,
and
you can't get people in there.
You got a city that is, in poverty.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
And how much is it to take a family of 4 to a baseball game?
Oh, it's $300.
If you buy tickets, you're gonna feed them, parking. You got to buy drinks. It's fucking like $5 for a bottle of Pepsi.
Yeah, it's bad.
But again, though, playing devil's advocate here.
You don't have kids. You can't play devil's advocate.
No.
You are devil's advocate.
But you say lower the prices. But, for example, we all know that the Browns games this upcoming year, they're going to be 99% of them sold out full capacity, if that's allowed.
Well, Browns, you can't compare baseball and football. Baseball, you have 81 games.
With
football,
how you mentioned the Falcons, though, like how they ended up changing the prices. You know, if you charge $15 for a beer and it's a full packed stadium, you're making a ton of money just off of the adults alone. You know they're going to go to the game and pay a beer.
But for someone like me, I'll go to an Indians game and have 2 beers at $7.50, $8, $9 a piece.
Right.
If you charge $6 for those beers, I'll probably have 5.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, absolutely.
It just adds up quick. Like that's
the thing is,
it's ridiculous going out to watch a sport.
Here's the thing: is that they know that people are going to pay that. You know what I mean? They know you have to. You only bought 2. Sure, but then the other idiots over there are going to get trashed after,
or else they pregame, or else you don't, right. So many people pregame before sporting events or what?
I did that before I had bills.
Right? But you have to do that,
when I lived at home, I'd go to a game and I'd buy 10 beers at $8 a piece.
Yeah.
No problem.
Right.
And then, they expect that, though. Like, I mean, think about that with, like, Progressive Field. When they end up having college ID night or whatever. Like,
sure.
They discounted beers because you have a college ID. Congratulations.
If you're the Indians, what you have to your advantage is kids live at home until they're 43.
Yeah.
That's true. God, that's sad.
I know.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
But changing gears and not talking about numbers and Tom Brady being upset about a cloud, found this one very interesting about the fact that Roger Goodell, ESPN reported this too, Roger Goodell is fully vaccinated, therefore he could hug the players tomorrow night during the draft.
Guess what? He could have hugged the players unvaccinated.
Yeah.
But, like, why is it even news? Like, who gives a shit?
He's going to get tested before he goes.
It's news because he's trying to set an example, right?
Yeah.
He wants people to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like,
Joe Biden called him and said, hey, commish, even if you're not, say you're vaccinated. And now, look, oh, my God, he's vaccinated. He's allowed to hug.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what happened.
And, like, that makes me look back at, like, childhood and stuff, like, with things happening, what actually is truthful and what's not.
None of it.
Like, even from, like, the sports point of view, even normal life, too.
The
like,
earth is flat.
Kyrie Irving, get out of here. Door's right there. But, like, it's just, I was looking at it, like, not even from that perspective. I was just looking at it that it's an idiot topic and it's a slow news day that day if you're talking about, hey, Roger Goodell's vaccinated.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats.
Well, it's, like he said, trying to set an example, trying to get people to get vaccinated, and it's just the NFL trying to make headlines.
Yep.
I mean, I don't blame him for it because, again, after losing out on how much money and, like, you have to do everything, all the costs that actually make sense to make up your difference. But it's just irritating that it's news, I guess.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Enough about football, though. I know that you wanted to talk about Indians. We got like 10 minutes left.
That's okay.
Steven Arzen is our REM sleep down at the NFL draft for the. Oh, you know what? The R in 2019 actually stood for the Washington Redskins, but I think the R is actually getting taken away this year.
Can't say that.
Oh,
that was last year it got taken away.
I didn't know which time frame we were looking at.
Washington football team, yeah.
Isn't that your favorite team too? The football team? The Washington football team?
My favorite football team doesn't have a logo.
Yeah, that is true.
Fair enough.
But changing gears though and going back to baseball, we were talking about Logan Allen and how irritating it is from him pitching and the fact that he's sent down to Columbus now. Keith, I heard the sigh, and we also talked about Jordan Luplow too, which, by the way, wanted to figure out the average. He's batting .204 with 6 homers and 15 RBIs. But Logan Allen, is it time that, like, is Cal Quantrill next in the rotation?
So wait, the last time I talked to Logan Allen was a couple days ago.
Okay.
And of course you wish him good luck, and you're like, yeah, I hope everything happens. And then he sucked, and I never talked to him again.
And now he's hitting you up right now about a show. How weird.
Yeah, right. Washed up.
But, like, it's the fact that leash, like, so many people were calling for Zach Plesac's head after, like, 2/3 of an inning against the White Sox. He goes 6 innings the next start against the same team, loses again, which, again, he went further in that span. But at the same time, like, so many people were against Zach Plesac, and Logan Allen, because he's a lefty, they wanted to keep him here. Like, they definitely wanted to keep him here because he's a lefty. That's all.
He's a lefty, right. I don't know. I just don't think... So, the pitching, obviously, we're fine, right? Get Logan out of there. Pull up some people. We're going to be fine in pitching.
I just worry about Tristan McKenzie, just because he's super skinny, and he needs more arm velocity, I think.
Well, he does, but... I just don't think...
It doesn't matter about the pitching. You're not going to score... You're not going to win many games if you're scoring 3 runs.
You can have the best pitching in the world. It doesn't matter because no matter what happens with your pitching, your bullpen, whatever, somebody's gonna. You can't put up zeros every single game.
Right.
So if we can't hit the ball, well, who gives a shit who's where? You know what I mean? Like, we're just not doing well.
You gotta find a way.
We knew it was gonna happen though. Like, we knew this year was gonna suck.
But, like, if you look at, like, numbers, like, compared to the past though, like Brian Shaw, the weatherman, not the relief pitcher for the Indians now, but you have.
Worse that we brought him back, but hey.
No, like Brian Shaw's actually looked good. Like it sounds crazy, but he's looked good. So like
for now.
But again, look at these 4-0 decisions. Ben Gamel has been forgotten for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
You have Logan Allen that's probably going to be forgotten. Like Pat said before last break.
Oh, he's
probably going to come back though and be in the bullpen. Best case scenario, he's like Carlos Carrasco and ends up rejuvenating his career. And hopefully that's what happens.
It's hard to
that's
say
what you
rejuvenate
need.
career when the guy's
young already, but after a bad start, yeah.
It's not even a bad start. He just couldn't hang, dude. He came up to the majors way too early.
But like with the Padres, though, he was with them, and like it's just not transitioning.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But so going back to a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Daniel Johnson should be called up. You should have Nolan Jones. You should have Bobby Bradley. Would you be upset if Bobby Bradley isn't called up and you leave Jordan Luplow in the outfield and move Naylor to first base?
No, I'd be fine with that.
Because at this point, like, you need to have whatever offense makes sense.
I'd be fine with that.
And, like, I would be fine with it too, but I still want to see Bobby Bradley.
Everybody wants to see Bobby Bradley, but what did I say all year? It's on recording. You can go back to the other episodes and listen to it. I told you Bradley wasn't going to be here. Like, he's just not going to be he doesn't have the... I don't know. I just don't think... I knew he wasn't going to be here very long.
But why isn't he here, though? Like, what is Bobby Bradley doing wrong? Is it the fact that, like, he has an unorthodox swing because most players
haven't
end up...
started yet. He's going to be here in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like, I don't think he's going to stay. I don't think they're going to get rid of Bowers. I don't think he's good either. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I think he did okay in spring training, but that doesn't matter in spring training. Nothing matters in spring training.
So did Logan Allen.
So did Yu Chang.
Yes.
And
actually, yeah.
Yu Chang, Jake Bowers just kind of fell there, but
yeah,
like Logan Allen had a good spring. Like spring really doesn't matter, but like with Bobby Bradley though, like is it just because he has? I like the things that I like about Bobby Bradley is something that isn't a part of baseball anymore. Like he's one of the few people that I see when he swings with two hands on the bat at all times while he's following through.
Yeah, it's weird.
But that's where you get like when you're growing up though, you're always taught two hands on the bat when you swing with two hands through the zone. And everybody, let's go with one hand now. And, like, for one, right now, if anybody needs to swing with two hands, it's Jake Bowers.
True.
You need to swing with an oar, too, but that's another story.
He probably shouldn't swing.
Honestly, I feel like that's where he's at right now, too.
He is.
Like,
it's not good.
It's just irritating, and I feel like this is going to be a lot of bouncing back and forth. It's like when, like, Brian Shaw, the weatherman again, too, ended up having the statistics for the Indians after, like, 10 games. And they're very similar to the past years. I gotta look at all like this rain stuff that he tweets about, weatherman. But like this year was like I think very comparable to like 2015 or 2016. All right, here we go. So through 20 games under Terry Francona, 2013 the Indians were 8-12. 2014 9-11. 2015 7-13. 2016 10-10 in fourth place. 2017, 11-9, 12-8, 12-8, 11-9 in second last year, and then 9-11 in third this year after 20 games, and now they're at 11-12. But again, though, like, are we still at the point that we're judging the fact that the Cleveland Indians are still early on, and we just want to have that same successful team?
How the hell do you have 58 missed phone calls and 52 text messages?
That's a great question.
Dude, delete that stuff. Get that off there on my
That doesn't bother you?
No, it doesn't. I also have 29 Snapchats, 4,534 emails.
The emails, I do that. But, dude, come on.
I do that.
Dude, all you got to do is click on the damn message and it goes away.
But, like, I feel bad then.
About what?
Just turn off your delivery receipt. You have an iPhone.
Good point. Anyways.
Get that off.
Can we do it after break, after we're off air? No. But is it just the fact that with the Cleveland Indians, everybody wants to remember the fact that we had Francisco Lindor, and it just seems that we always had great starts.
Booed in New York.
Yeah, and he's also can't hit for shit either. Jake Bowers might be in a good argument with a better hitter than Lindor at this point.
Like we always said, like he's getting booed in New York. He was a lazy piece of crap, and he admitted to being a lazy piece of crap. I don't miss him being gone. This is why he was gone. So no, they're all dumb.
Like. And I feel like it's just the point that we're used to the Indians being successful, and again,
no, we're not.
No, like with Lindor in the past, and I feel like that's why people
you are used to the Indians being successful.
No, like
if you're over the age of 30 or 35, you are not used to the Indians being
35
successful.
Maybe
35. Well, I mean, but in 90s,
do we have to, like
outside of that?
That's the thing. Like, with my like fandom and being like where I was born at. I was born in 1996. Year before that, they were in the World Series. 95.
Matches in your contacts.
Siri, I'm not talking to you. But 95, we ended up having to go to the World Series. I missed that. I wasn't even a thought. And if I was, I was.
Too.
Yeah, and that was when I was 1 year old. Like, we went in October of 1997. I was a year old and 6 months. Am I going to remember that? No. And then after that, you end up having the next World Series that comes to mind is 2016. Like, I've seen the success, but I've also...
It was the next one.
I was going to say, there was no other one.
I wanted to double check, because 2003 was also when they won the division. I just didn't remember.
2007 they should have went, and they should have won.
Yeah. That was the first one that I saw. Like, that's the first one I remembered.
3-1 lead against the Red Sox, and then Colorado Rockies, who won to beat St. Ignatius.
Dude, that irritates me so much. And, like, 2016, too. We could even talk about 2016, how that didn't happen. And,
injuries.
Like, but at the same time, though, injuries, you had that rotation, and you still powered through.
Drone.
That's a good key word. Which, by the way, before we end up closing out tonight, did you guys see Trevor Bauer and Fernando Tatis Jr. when Tatis ended up peeking at whatever was pitched, like whatever he ended up calling the catcher, and Trevor Bauer ended up calling out and pretty much said, hey, it's part of the game of baseball. Like, I'm not going to be mad about that, but Daddy, if you want to know, let me know.
Fun.
Yeah, like, that's the thing is so many people hate Trevor Bauer. I might come off like a fan of his, but I really, like, I just appreciate the fact that they make the game fun. Like, the younger people, Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be what Lindor should be.
Yes.
And I think that's by a landslide because he's a tough, like, obviously right now to start off the year, he has like 9 errors. You don't want that from your star MLB player. But again, though, you have injuries, and this is the first full season you're playing in a year.
Especially shortstop.
Yeah, shortstop too, yeah.
The number one, Yeah.
But it's just fun to see the game being actually enjoyable. But again, though, let's take this back to home run showdowns and extra innings. Yep. Let's delete extra innings as a whole. Let's have 7-inning doubleheaders, which I don't hate, but I hate the fact that no hitters don't count for that. Like, just keep baseball, and like, and again, this goes back to the original topic, though, that Rob Manfred is approving these rules. The NFL is approving these rules for numbers.
100%
you have idiots. And then if you want to talk about Adam Silver, he's had good ideas. He might be the only good commissioner because, like, the bubble thing in the playoffs.
He approves putting Black Lives Matter on the court.
And they lost 90% of their viewership.
I wasn't looking into that.
But I'm saying, like, he's an idiot, too.
The best commissioner in sports is probably the commissioner of, like, golf.
Is there one?
Probably. Yeah. Somebody has to put on that green jacket.
I mean, at that point, yeah, sure. I don't even know the guy, but yep, he wins. Anybody who...
They did nothing political.
No, they couldn't. They were smart.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so idiotic that you have these commissioners now. Like, in baseball, do you honestly think, and this is the last thing we're going to probably say about baseball and then head it up for the night, do you think Bud Selig would approve this shit that's being fired to a wall right now?
No, and the guy that should be some commissioner wouldn't either. Mark Shapiro should be the commissioner of baseball.
Should have been commissioner of baseball.
But Shapiro didn't want to, right?
Like, no, I think there was a political thing with him, too, that got involved with it.
But, you know, Manfred was just hanging by somebody's ball sack, and then he got a job. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, too. Like, that's just...
Manfred's bad, dude. Like, but you're right. Like Shapiro should have been it. And then you got to look at what you said, Bud. Dude, Bud was bad, too. He was bad for baseball, too. Better than Manfred, but was bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... Sports should just...
Sports.
Is this the time when you just take the commissioner out of the commissioner's seat and just have people like fan controlled football?
You can't let the fans run it.
No, but like you have to have somebody else run it. Like you don't want to go fan controlled baseball or whatever because that'd be stupid.
You know what you need to do? You need to take the GM from each team
and vote on it.
Yeah,
that's what needs.
That's kind of like how politics are. You have like things that laws are voted and stuff.
It's called democracy, but it's not good.
All right, on that note,
I mean, we don't live in a democracy, but that's fine. We live in a republic.
We used to,
but.
Stephen R., shout out to you. Let us know how draft coverage is this week down in Cleveland, Ohio. The R stands for Redskins, REM Sleep, Rockneys.
And Riggs. Because Riggs isn't here either. So, I mean, let's just be honest.
No, Riggs had work. You missed that. I was telling Pat. No. Stephen R. is down at the draft, and Riggs has work tonight.
It's not. Both are sleeping on the couch because they're the same person.
No, they're not. Yeah. Stephen R. is down at the draft. I'll call him right now.
Go ahead.
All right. You just tried.
No, that was Riggs I was trying to call. Hold on. I got to... All right, we'll call him afterwards.
Afterwards what? The show's over. Look, you're panicking more than Riggs is right
Stephen
now.
R., answer your phone.
You're not calling anybody.
Hello?
Is that a horse? What's your back?
Stephen R.
Let me talk to him.
Put it on speaker.
No, he doesn't want to be on speaker. All right, guys. He says next week, 7:30 to 9:30.
There is no.
All right, Tyler. This means close the show.
Shave your nutsack.
Sports with a Z. SPORTZ.
Don't close the show out. This is clearly is not anybody. You didn't even hang up. It's still your dog. He's talking to a dog.
Venmo.
What the hell are you gonna Venmo money?
That's what takes him to be on a phone call. Stephen R.
Venmo?
Yes. You got Venmo money?
It doesn't even make any sense.
All right, Tyler, take a break.
There is no break. It's over.
It's over.